My name's Steve Parkinson. I'm the Business Director at the Vale Federation of Schools. I would highly recommend Access HR People Management Systems. Access HR has enabled us to have everything that's people related in one place. We have nothing to do with our staff anywhere other than in Access HR. Everything from the trigger management, absence management, the recruitment process, the onboarding. We have everything to do with their next of kins, their personal details. We have all their documents, their letters, their right return to works. Every kind of document and everything is stored into their actual own individual personal file. That's never been the case for us before. That's made an unbelievable difference, not only to the volume of paperwork we're holding, but also making sure everything is always up to date and live in everyone's HR personnel folder. The benefit of the HR module as well for us to overcome a challenge was that we had so many different people that were actually working in the HR department. It then became difficult for individuals to try and find where certain parts of information was. Again, that's been overcome straight away with everything being in one place. We also had challenges with the payroll. So the payroll was administered by a payroll provider. We still administered basic details here to process initially, but where you had overtime claims, for example, or expenses, those had to be completed on a manual paper-based system and then scanned and emailed across to the payroll provider for them to process. Again, lots of layers of challenge, loads of extra expense to do, and on top of that, of course, you've got human error input and you've got scanned copies where you could be reading it one hand when you're looking at the original, but unfortunately the contrast when it comes out on the scanner, it looks a slightly different number. You've then got the increased error potential as well. So there was a multiple and raft of challenges here and that we faced before we actually implemented Access. When we then implemented the Access HR system, that then overcame all of these and more. Everything is in one place for us. Everybody goes to the one place. Everybody has permissions that's specific to their role that allows them to see the information they should, but not gain access to the information they shouldn't. So that has helped us with both GDPR and data protection. With regards to processing payroll claims and additional payments and so on, all of that is administered within HR People, so it's entered into the same place, so it's on record for everybody, and that automatically now transfers to our Access Payroll services without us filling, scanning. There's no separate paperwork. All of our staff complete all of their overtime claims, additional payments, leave of absence requests, upload of forms. All of that is completed via their self-service access portal, which every member of staff has. We've also benefited from the app that we've downloaded to, which gives the same functionality, so everybody's got it on their mobile telephones to make it accessible to them all the time. So we didn't ever believe that we would have that many solutions presented to us right at the outset. Some of this came as we were on the journey of implementation. So it's even greater than where we initially thought when we were looking at implementing Access HR and the payroll services. One of the things we suffer with, like I'm sure every organisation within the education suffers with, is absence and absence management. It's a bit of a challenge for everybody, but it's even a greater challenge for the HR departments trying to actually manage the management and who is reaching a sickness trigger level, who has had a return to work and who hasn't, the doctor's certificates that are supposed to come in, when the anticipated return to work date would be, phased returns, all of those complicated issues, all relevant to one single subject of absence management. That is all now within our Access software solutions with the HR module. It manages everything. The documents are uploaded into there so anybody could see anything to do with a return to work form or a doctor's certificate. The interviews and meetings we have with staff with regards to return to work or trigger meetings, they're all included within the system. The notifications and the letters that go to the staff are all automated. So whereas before you'd normally have a conversation with an individual, you'd then have to go and type the letter up, you'd then have to proof the letter, you'd then have to post the letter. All of that has now been overcome. As soon as we've completed the meeting, we've got the template letter set up based on the relevant outcomes, and they are then just associated with the relevant member of staff, populated with their details and go automatically as per the timeframes that we've programmed into the system. So again, very useful tools. We have a wide-ranging reporting suite that we can do pay gender analysis, which is one of the key topics of the day, discrimination details. We have triggers and trigger listings of who's triggering at what stage and when the next trigger's due, and all of those sorts of things. So the level of data input reporting that we've got from the tools and support functions from the HR module is vast and considerable. With regards to payroll, the payroll manager and the payroll team, they're monitoring what overtime claims are put on by the staff member. After that's been put on by the staff member, their manager verifies that to make sure that's done correctly and has met with what they approved. That is all automatic, and there's notifications that are automated. Then on top of that, it goes through to final authorisation, which would be me, and I have got everything to authorise in one place, and it now takes me about half an hour to complete the whole of the overtime authorisation for the organisation, as opposed to what was over a 2-hour exercise previously. That then, as soon as I've approved it, goes straight through to the payroll system. No paperwork, no emails, nothing at all. When the payroll system comes back to us, the payroll services come back to us with the final reports, all of those reports there are to check. There's 2 points to check, so there's no errors or no issues whatsoever. They highlight all the changes from previous payroll, and everything can be cross-analysed and checked very quickly, very swiftly, all electronically, before the payroll is then confirmed, and it's just automatically processed. All of our staff now get their pay slips on their app, on their phone, as well as into their self-service portal, so they feel like they're informed and have got access to all of their data much more easily and much more efficiently. Now, we've done recent satisfaction surveys. Over the last 6 months, we've done 2. One 6 months ago, one recently just before Christmas. And in the Christmas survey, from the Access HR perspective, we've got 9.8 out of 10 in staff satisfaction from an Access HR perspective. The Access HR people module and solutions has had a huge impact on our HR department. We were suffering with quite considerable capacity issues due to the volume of the way our staff was increasing across the Federation, but also on the particular challenges that we were facing with HR and HR activities to do with absence management, recruitment especially. This was applying huge time pressures. So the processing then became cumbersome to everybody because it was encroaching upon actually doing the job as well as obviously the processing. Access implementation has transformed this. Where we were thinking of expansion of the HR team by at least 2 more people, the expansion's only been to 1 person, not to 2, and we've still got capacity left. We've also got a complete reduction in processing time from where we were. It's literally less than 1/3 of what the processing time was for similar activities previously from a manual or on a separate system or a different system. You're always looking at real-time latest data, whether that be the absences today, whether that be the forecast absences going forward, whether that be the leave of absence requests or anything else for that matter. So those are some serious benefits that we've actually had from those systems and the tools that they offer. It's inputted by the individual right the way through and they get it in their payslip. So huge benefit from all of those elements, whether it be HR, recruitment or payroll. So Access HR people systems, whether it's been recruitment, payroll or the HR module, all of those have been an unbelievable benefit to us. I'd highly recommend them to any educational establishment, especially those that don't have any form of software to support these business functions today, which are critical and an ever challenging area of people management.